You're listening to Procurement 6, the weekly podcast from the team at Art of Procurement that summarizes this week in procurement in just 6 short segments.
Hi there, my name's Helen Mackenzie and today is Friday, November the 8th, 2024.
6.
There's never been a more exciting and challenging time to be in procurement. And we know the challenges you face aren't simple. They're complex, often unfamiliar and always evolving. That's why it's more important than ever for our team at Art of Procurement to make it as quick and easy as possible for you to find the knowledge, tools and strategies you need to keep pace with how fast things are changing. So my tip for you this week is a bit of a reminder that Art of Procurement recently launched our official YouTube channel. And we want to make sure that you know about this incredible resource that we've created for procurement. We imagine it as a kind of lifeline of procurement insight, providing you with a roadmap for the future, with 19 playlists organised by show and topic and dozens of YouTube shorts. You can grab some bite-sized inspiration on the go or settle in for more in-depth conversations. We built out our YouTube channel to further enrich your journey and 10x your impact on the business, and all while navigating complex challenges facing the global supply chain. Subscribe to watch, listen and learn with us as we continue to reimagine the future of procurement together.
5.
In this week's Art of Procurement podcast, Philip Eidson spoke in person with Andrew Daly, Managing Director, Digital Procurement and Supply Chain at Edbury Daly, about the skills, operating models and technologies procurement needs to thrive in an increasingly digital and even volatile future. In the extract I've chosen for you today, Andrew shares his thoughts on how procurement can design the best operating model to set themselves up for success.
And you talked about operating model. So it was interesting to me, like before you even have the skills discussion, should you be having an operating model discussion? So you can kind of figure out what my model should be so that I know what to hire for the model.
Chicken and egg, process and technology, operating model and skills, they're just intertwined in this case. So that is a really good question. If I just reflect on what is the answer to that, which is first, I'm not sure, if I'm honest. I'm a recruiter, not a procurement professional, but I think ultimately you can't have the two conversations separately.
Right.
They are intertwined.
Yeah.
And so I suppose with any transformation program, you need to have an end goal in mind. You don't get in a car and just drive.
Yeah.
Program your sat nav in your case to another part of Florida, in my case to another part of Manchester, and you go on your journey to get to your end goal. So what we became apparent is if you break it down into three, really, your leaders, your existing practitioners and your emerging talent. And my view is that the emerging talent and the operating model are particularly intertwined. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure we'll come back to that. But for the leaders, that's probably more about the skills, and probably the practices to a degree as well. What are we going to do in order to, start to use solutions more effectively? And then what is the vision for the end goal? And then the operating model really comes into that conversation. And because I think the operating model is the vehicle by which you recruit new talent. Yeah. Because as we both know, that traditional entry point to a buying job is on the verge of being automated. Mm-hmm.
Great advice there from Andrew. To listen to the full episode, go to artofprocurement.com/podcast or search for Art of Procurement and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, or click in the link in today's show notes.
4.
Each year contains unexpected developments and surprises. Some of them are mere flashes of circumstance, while others change the trajectory of industries, communities and individuals for the long term. The challenge for procurement is knowing what to watch for and then deciding how to prepare. In this week's episode of the Love Procurement podcast, Ari Stone, Global SVP for Value Engineering, Solution Consulting and Services at iValuer, bravely makes some predictions about 2025. They include what we should expect from generative AI in 2025 and how procurement can seize the opportunity, the critical role that data will play in corporate decision making and how it might change the role of the Chief Procurement Officer, how workforce trends are affecting procurement's ability to influence their peers, and how a new generation of professionals is remaking the procurement brand in their own image, and the ongoing drama of geopolitics and how it's putting pressure on global supply chains while increasing the need for risk management and transparency. Hear more by listening to the whole episode of the Love Procurement podcast using the link in today's show notes.
This is Procurement 6 from Art of Procurement. To get notified every time an episode is published, go to artofprocurement.com/subscribe. 3.
In this week's episode of the Sourcing Hero podcast, host Kelly Barner welcomes Joseph Scull, a professional with expertise in real estate, operations and procurement. In the interview with Kelly, he talks about how conversations often start between procurement and the business. It usually sounds like, "Hi procurement, I'm having an issue with one of my suppliers." While the problem has been recognised and the business knows it needs to be resolved, they can't risk their day-to-day relationship with that supplier. Enter their friends in procurement. Listen in to hear how process, direct contact and results shape internal perceptions of procurement, as well as when the business is most likely to seek out procurement's help and how procurement can turn that into added value. You can find the whole episode linked in today's show notes, or search for the Sourcing Hero wherever you find your podcasts.
2.
In a boost for sustainable supply chains, recent reports highlight the success of collaborative platforms and digital tools aimed at reducing carbon footprints. A standout initiative is Green Alps Shippers Association, which provides a unique cooperative model where shippers and carriers can collectively measure and offset carbon emissions. Similarly, Sea Routes is using data-driven route optimization to help companies cut down on emissions and reduce fuel costs. A fresh report from MIT's Centre for Transportation and Logistics and the Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals underscores the growing role of investors and digital innovations like machine learning in tracking complex emissions, particularly Scope 3. With more companies investing in greener technology, sustainable supply chains are becoming a priority, not only for regulatory compliance, but also for a far more resilient future. These stories illustrate how technology and industry cooperation are key to driving greener supply chains forward. To check out the report from MIT, use the link in the show notes.
1.
Join our next AOP Live webinar on November 20th as we welcome the team from Zip to talk about the evolution of spend management and the new expectations and pressures this puts on procurement. We'll have a live interactive discussion about how AI is transforming intake and orchestration, which means a new way of doing business for procurement. How this new way, if taken advantage of correctly, can actually create more effective and integrated procurement processes, and what procurement's new user experience of the future looks like when traditional spend management as we know it doesn't exist. So register now by clicking on the link in the show notes or visit artofprocurement.com to find out more.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next Friday at 6 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you've enjoyed this pod, help us grow and tell your peers to search for Procurement 6 wherever they get their podcasts.